correctly. It should be the Britney Spears video. I wanted to go over Natal Cosmodynes today and show you guys how to do it. And she was just the first person that came to my mind, so we're going to use her. And it also reminded me that I really want to do the synastry between Britney and Kevin Federline, because I'm going to look really quick. I meant to do this before I hopped on. Her ascendant is 2.41 degrees Libra. And let's see, Kevin, I'll just look this up while I'm waiting for you all to get in here. His ascendant, and now it says it's, so on Astro Theme, that's where I get their birth times. It says it's a reliable, it like rates the reliability. So sometimes it's just like a C, it's an A, you know, like grading in school, ABC. But the source is from memory and the contributor's Roman Craft. So even, I mean, it is pretty good. I've seen it where it says it's like a C reliability, but I'm not sure who Roman Craft is. So I guess from his memory, Britney's born at 1:30 a.m. If it's 1:32 or something, it can make a big difference. For example, me, if I was born at 5:30 p.m., I would be a Virgo rising, like 29 degrees in some minutes Virgo, and I'm born at 5:32 p.m. and I'm 0 degrees, 11 minutes Libra. Kevin Federline is 11 degrees, 6 minutes Libra rising. And this says it's an AA reliability. It's from his birth certificate. So his is actually more reliable. But you know, I like Britney Spears. I'm a dancer. She's a dancer. I wasn't a huge fan of her music when I was younger, but there are certain songs I really enjoy. You know, I don't know what's going on with her Instagram or any of that. I'm not here to comment on that. She was just the first one that popped to my mind, probably because she's pretty relevant right now, to go over the Natal Cosmodynes. And I'm going to show you guys, you can go along with me if you want. If you want to pull this up, if you have your, you know, computer handy or your iPad while you're watching, or if you're watching on your TV, maybe on YouTube, you could pull it up on your phone. So I'll help you get that started in a minute. My hair is a little crazy today, as usual. But yeah, so I thought I did run their synastry just sort of in my free time one day, and I thought it was very interesting that they are ascendant twins. And I've had people ask me about ascendant twins. My actual twin flame, who I consider my twin flame, I thought that we were ascendant twins, but daylight savings time, I had it in there incorrectly. So, and I've thought about this being ascendant twins with a few different people. So Kevin Federline and Britney Spears were ascendant twins, which means that all their houses align to some extent. They have a reverse natural chart like I do. I know Denzel Washington also is a Libra rising with the Cancer midheaven. I think Kevin Federline, yeah, he has a Cancer midheaven too. But his moon is in Virgo and her moon is in Aquarius, and that's why they didn't work out in a nutshell. But I do think I might do like Celebrity Synastry Tuesdays. You know, I try not to put myself in too much of a box, but I do think sometime next week we will go over their synastry, like all of the aspects. But in a nutshell, the reason that their marriage didn't last is because his moon's in Virgo and her moon is in Aquarius, but they are ascendant twins. So that's where they had a lot of affinity and alignment with one another to a certain extent, right? To be able to get married and have children and all of that. So with that being said, that's all I'm going to cover on those two today. So if you want to follow along with me, you can go to divinetimingdatabase.com, and this will show you how to do it for anyone. Now, I kind of wish I had this set up on the computer so that I could screen share with you guys. I'm going to try to get that going again. I don't know how good my, well, I do have a pretty good Wi-Fi signal here, but then it's like to hook the camera or the phone camera to the computer is kind of a pain, so it's easier for me to hop on this way. I don't know how well you guys could see it if I hold it up for you. Let me see. Let me see how clear this is. Yeah, it's too much of a glare. But if you want to follow along, you can go to divinetimingdatabase.com. It's the database that I built. And you don't have, you can create your own account. But I already put Britney Spears' birth info in there. So if you just want to follow along right now, go to divinetimingdatabase.com and then log in. And I put it in the description, and I'll put it in the, let me see if I can write it in the comments really quick. I probably have to hop on the laptop and do it, but nobody's in here right now, so you'll be watching it on the playback most likely. So I'll pin it at the top of the comments as well, but it is in the description box right now if you want to click on it. You can just log in and I also wrote it in the description as well. It's celebs is the username and celebs is the password. And that is part of the database that I have open to everyone. So you can create your own account and save and store all your friends and family. And it's really nice because once you have, you know, when you're using the free websites like AstroSeek or Cafe Astrology, which are great, or even 0800, you know, you can kind of save it, but it's kind of a pain. And then you have to like go retype it every time. Or in this one, you could just have your own database where you could be like, okay, you got your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, you know, you bump into an old friend and they give you their birth time. You can put it in there also. So you have everything stored in one place. And what I like about it is that when you're running the charts, all you have to do is put the ID numbers. So you don't have to re-enter their birth info every single time. So you could literally put like 10 people in there and run your synastry with each of them just by putting your ID and their ID and pull up all 10 charts in different tabs. So for me, it's a lot quicker than, aside from my like more in-depth software, which actually I can't use on the Mac. So I use the Mac more for work because it's just faster. The Apple, you know, MacBook Pro. So I really love this. And what I also love is like with my software, if my other laptop's at home, I don't have all my data, but with this website, you know, it's online. So I could just pull it up on my phone from anywhere that I am and see, oh yeah, what was this person, if it comes to my mind or I'm trying to figure something out. Or if you meet someone, you can just log in and let me just clear my... You can just log in and save them really quick and run it later. So I use this database for the divinetimingdatabase.org, and I just found a match last night and I'm pretty excited about that. The thing was, and I mentioned this yesterday, their proximity. One chose like to only find matches in her city, and then the guy chose only to find matches in his state, but they do live in the same country. So I went ahead and matched them, and I don't know if you're in here, I believe the woman might follow my YouTube channel. I don't want to call anyone out. If she hasn't commented or anything, I'm not going to call out her username, but and the male is actually one of my clients on another platform. And so I suggest it to a lot of my clients, but they don't always follow suit. So he did. And he did that just the other day. And I said, you know, since I don't have as many men in there, I'll bump you up. So I went in there yesterday, updated everything and ran and actually found them a match. But I mentioned this yesterday as well, and I don't want to go off on it. If you enter the Divine Timing Database, it's a $15 fee, but I will keep running you and recruiting people until I find you a match. So even with those two, because I didn't find someone in their city, in their state like they asked, I'm going to keep running them, but they can still talk to each other. You never know. If it's love and it's divine timing and they were meant to meet, regardless of their location preferences, one of them might be able to make a move for love, you know, and if not, at least, you know, they might have someone to talk to until we find a match that, you know, is more suitable for their lifestyle in their location. Anyways, so I love this. So you go to divinetimingdatabase.com. Again, the link is in the profile, and the password and username is open for you all. You can add however many celebrities that you want. Please try to make sure it's accurate. You can check on Astro Theme, the birth time, but I can go in and edit them too. But try to, you know, not just fill it with a bunch of fluff, and make sure you're putting in the correct ones. But it's nice because there's a few celebrities already in here. Like we have Eva Mendes, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, Sandra Bullock, Tina Turner. I was using this for those celeb synastries. So, you know, the more that are in there, you can run them against each other, right? So if one of you today wants to go put Kevin Federline in there, and then you could run Britney and Kevin and get a head start on what I'm going to talk about next week. You know what I mean? And it would help me because I can just go ahead and pull it up. But I'm going to kind of get a little more detailed. This is why I wish you could see it. So when you go in there, just you can create your own. whenever you want, but if you want to follow along with this video, put celebs, CELEBS, and it's written again in the description, and then the password is celebs, you know, like celebrities, but I put celebs because that's very LA of me. So then another thing I just want to mention is that when you go, so you don't have to put Britney Spears in here, so you don't have to add a chart or anything. It'll just take you straight to the page. Now, if you go and you see the blue number to the left of the names, her user ID is, or her ID number is 131. So any chart you want to pull of Britney Spears, you could pull her transits or anything, you would just put 131. So when you scroll down, you'll see like add new chart. It's a green button. It's below all the names that are entered, and then you'll see official divine timing database. That's to take you to divinetimingdatabase.org. That's a red button, and then as you go below that, you'll start to see these tables, and it says natal chart report, and then if the table below that, it says synastry report, and the table below that says solar arcs. So you want to go to the top table, natal chart report, and this is what I want to mention. You'll see in the natal chart report box, you see where it says ID number, and if you wanted to pull up Britney Spears' actual birth chart, which if you guys want, let me know and we can go over that another time. There's one or two things I'll mention about, you know, she has a Capricorn. I mentioned her Libra rising. She has a Capricorn IC, which has a lot to do with what happened with her parents in her conservatorship. That's very much an extreme case scenario example of what it's like to have Capricorn on the IC. And I've mentioned that in other videos. So if you guys want, we could go over her birth chart and get more into that. And I may mention that a little today if it comes up. But so here it says ID number, and then in the natal chart report box, but you see that to the right, there's like this white square and the button is kind of messed up. And I got to go in and try to fix it. I was trying to do it yesterday. It's kind of deep in the CSS is what they call it. Can't even remember what that's an abbreviation for right now, but it's like, anyways, so once you put the ID number, you click that like white rectangle to the right. But we're not pulling up her natal chart report. So you see it says natal chart report above ID number. And then above that, it says natal chart report again. It's sort of like a tab. And to the right of that, it says Natal Cosmodynes. And I want you guys to be able to do this for yourselves. So that's why I'm showing you with Britney. And so you would want to create your own account. You know, you wouldn't use celebs. Don't put your birth information in there because obviously everyone can access it. But if you go register your own account on divinetimingdatabase.org, then this would be what you would do. You would add your birth date and time and info. Or if you don't have your time, you just put 12-0 and then time unknown where it says AM or PM. I have a couple videos on how to use this database where I actually show you. So I'll link those below also and pin them in the comments after we wrap this up for the playback. For the Natal Cosmodynes, it's going to be to the right of natal chart report in the tab. And then to the right of that, it says vocational analysis. Now, vocational analysis is just your birth chart, but then it kind of has a little bit extra about what would be good for you as far as job or career. So it's kind of cool. So if you run your natal chart report first and then you run your vocational analysis, you might be like, this seems like the same thing, but you'll be able to see where there's a little bit different information, and that's the vocational. Vocational means career, right? So it's kind of a cool way to see what your chart says quickly about what would be a good career for you, which I have a lot of clients come to me about as well. And I have a really cool exercise about that. So maybe next week we can do the career. I'll tell you the career exercise and we can go over the vocational analysis. But for today, I really want to do Natal Cosmodynes. It's really simple. I had dual Cosmodynes in here with the synastry, but I don't like the way it's aligning. I've actually tried to kind of remedy, and the person who wrote this software originally, I went and we had a little bit of a back and forth discussion, but I don't, you know, because if you run the synastry report on here, I left it on there for you guys. It has a dual Cosmodyne score. It's like this little meter with a score. And don't panic if you do run a synastry report and it says you have like a -5 score, because it's not taking everything into account, and it's not basing it exactly. I mean, it is close, but it's not basing it on like my deal breakers and divorce aspects and all that. So I'm trying to get in there and rig it so that it'll kind of be, so that'll be in alignment with what I believe and what I preach. And so one of these days, that's actually going to be included in when you enter the divinetimingdatabase.org, and it matches. It's going to be like boop, automatic, and it'll just run and say, okay, no matches, okay, 5 matches. But right now I have to manually go and match you guys. Which is actually, I have it streamlined, but okay, I'm just going way off here. So let's actually get into Natal Cosmodynes, all right? So when you're up, see Natal Chart Report, the square, it's under, again, the red button that says Official Divine Timing Database. It's the first table. It says Natal Report, Natal Chart Report. So you want to go to the right and click on Natal Cosmodynes. And then you'll see, and you'll know because the button to the right of ID number actually is gray and blue with blue writing, and you can see it. And so under Natal Cosmodynes, it'll say that if you clicked it correctly, it'll say enter an ID number in the box below to generate this person's Natal Cosmodynes. And then below the ID number box, it says, where does your power reside? Harmony, discord, question mark. So that's where you want to be. And you enter, if you're following along, 131 in the ID number for Britney Spears, if you're in the celebs account. And then you hit, sorry, I can't see very well. I thought about putting my glasses on. Enter ID to generate the Natal Cosmodynes for chosen ID. So I clicked that. Oh, now it logged me out. 1 second. I took too long because I logged in earlier. Okay. So you'll go to view your private database when you log in. It's the purple button. And then you'll come to this page that I'm talking about. Scroll down to Natal Chart Report, right under Official Divine Timing Database, red button. And then click on Natal Cosmodynes. And then in the ID box, put 131 if you want to follow along right now, because that's Britney Spears' ID number. And then hit enter ID number. I might have to put my glasses on to see this, you guys. Okay. So now it's going to pull up a PDF that says Natal Cosmodynes, and it says for ID number 131, Britney Spears. This should say the same thing for you guys. Again, I don't think you can really see it here, but it says data for Wednesday, December 2nd, 1981 at 1:30. It's a.m. So we're just going to quickly go over what these are and kind of what it means, and it's not going to take too long. That's too, my lights always go off. Okay. Sun. So the first box is the planet's power. And this is good to know where your power and your harmony is. Okay. And this isn't on most, I mean, it might be on AstroSeek, but, so the first one is your planets, but it also includes your ascendant and your midheaven. So those are the most important points in your chart, right? The axes. I don't know if I'm saying that right. And so you can see here, like Britney Spears' power, she has the most power. Actually, her power is pretty equally distributed throughout her chart. A lot of times you're going to see that the sun has the most power for most people. For me, I know it's my midheaven in Cancer, which is her. So if her birth time is accurate, which it most likely is, her ascendant and her midheaven are only 2 degrees off from mine. So her and I are actually tighter ascendant twins than Kevin Federline and her. And I've had people say that when, I'm my extensions and stuff, and I'm dancing around like, oh, you kind of, oh, you're Britney Spears, which she's so bubbly. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm much more serious with all the Virgo in my chart, right? But I did feel like because they're both, actually Kevin Federline's a Libra rising, Aries sun, Virgo moon like me, and think whatever you want about him, but he is a really talented dancer. Maybe not now. He kind of looks like he kind of lost his health there, but but I was just like, okay, if he was a good enough dancer to get Britney Spears' attention, that makes me feel, like I have some oomph in my dancing background, as far as my main 3, right? Ascendant, sun, moon. But anyway, so here she's pretty equally distributed. Her most of her power is in Pluto, and this is not in harmony. It's in discord by -7 degrees, or -7 power, let's say. because I don't know if that's degree, and it's in the sign of Libra. But if we pull up her birth chart, I have it here on Astro Theme, so I'll just do this really quick. It's at 25 degrees. Oh yeah, I don't like Astro Theme because it doesn't tell me where the house cusps are. So let me just pull up her birth chart really quick also, because I can just go back to that page, pull up her birth chart, and it'll actually have a PDF in a separate tab. So her second house cusp is, let's see. Her second house cusp is 0 degrees Scorpio. So her Pluto is in her first house, her ascendant, the physical body. This is a house of transformation. So she has that's where most of her power resides. Planet-wise is with Pluto, which could be why she has a lot of transformation, destruction, and rebirth happening in her life. But she's sort of able to ride the waves. But it is very interesting how her power is very equally distributed. She has the most harmony with Jupiter, which rules, remember, wealth, luck, and benevolence, and can be fame depending where he's placed. Where is her Jupiter? He is in the sign of Scorpio. On the cusp of her second house, which is the house of money. So again, when we talked about Jupiter going through the houses, I said, you know, if you have Jupiter in the second house, you're probably not going to have to want for money. It also rules family. Her family benefits off of her money with Jupiter on her. And, you know, a planet on your cusp is more powerful than it being in smack dab in the middle of your house. So Britney Spears is very wealthy. She has Jupiter on her second house cusp, right? You know, it's 0 degrees Scorpio, and then Jupiter's at 1 degree Scorpio. So, you know, within 1 degree of a house cusp is a very powerful point. So, and her Jupiter is her most harmonious, much, much more than anything else. 18 is the harmony score there. So, oh yeah, actually it says it on the Natal Cosmodynes. I didn't need to pull up her chart. It says Jupiter 31 degrees power. So it's not the most power that she has, but it's the most harmony that she has, 18. And then the longitude is 1 degree Scorpio, house position, second house. But I did need her birth chart to see that her second house starts at 0 degrees, okay? So the cool thing, like I said, is you can just go, when you're on that home page, you could type 131 under Natal Chart Report, and then you can type 131 under Natal Cosmodynes, pull up these PDFs, especially if you're on the computer, even on the phone, it opens in new tabs, so you could go back and forth between the two, like I just did, to see things like that. That's why I really like this, divinetimingdatabase.com. Now, as far as her signs go, her most of her power, it's actually somewhat equal. It's slightly more in Sagittarius. So actually, it's not usually the sun that holds the most power. It's usually the sign that the sun is in. I think for 90% of you or more, your most powerful sign is going to be where the sun is, because the sun is very benevolent, right? It's our life force. It's how we survive. We can't survive without the sun. So wherever your sun is most likely going to be the sign that you have the most power in, which is why most people think that they only need to know their sun signs, or they can read, you know, the horoscope based on their sun, because that is where they have the most power. Although you really should be reading your horoscope not only on your sun sign, but also your ascendant, because that's really what it's based on, is the ascendant sign. As far as how it's going to affect you. So I always recommend to read your ascendant and your sun. Your moon, maybe when it comes to your love life, you could read your moon and Venus. I know tarot readers are always like, this is for sun, moon, Venus, and rising. And I'm like, I don't know about that. But anyways, so Sagittarius is where she has the most power. It's 172.68, and she has harmony there in Sagittarius, even though she doesn't have harmony in the house that Sagittarius. Her sun has -2 harmony in her third house. But Sagittarius, she has harmony of 6. And then right under that is Libra, which would be her ascendant, which is, you know, probably why she has a lot of fame. It's not in good harmony, though. It's -13, which could show some of the infamy or the disruption, or sort of the embarrassments, right? But she has the most power, 172.36, so almost as much as her sun, which is quite a lot for an ascendant sign. And again, so when the ascendant or the midheaven are very powerful like that, and so this is why I'm showing you guys this, is because a lot of times I talk about power and a lot of you are probably like, what does that mean? I'm talking about the natal cosmodynes. So if you, that's how you can figure this out for yourself. And her most harmonious sign again is Scorpio, just like her most harmonious planet is Pluto, which is the ruler of Scorpio. So, and I believe her Jupiter is in Scorpio. So this is her second house, which is money again and wealth. Let me just see what I'm saying here. Scorpio, yeah, rules her second house. That's where she has the most harmony. That's where her most harmonious planet is, which is Jupiter, which is on her second house cusp. So powerful ascendant is fame. Powerful sun is life force and endurance, probably to dance forever and travel the world, which is Sagittarius, right? Which is what Britney Spears is. And let's see, her most discordant sign is Libra. Okay, so actually, again, so she has the second most power, which is almost like only within I mean, we're talking, it's 172.68 her Sagittarius, and then 172.36 her Libra. So her ascendant is as powerful as her sun, which is, you know, the world sees her. Your ascendant is what the world sees. It's your first impressions. It's how you come across, but it's in discord. So, and it's her most discordant sign, which obviously we can see that with her life, right? But it's not like a huge amount of discord. -13 isn't that bad, but for her, it's her most discordant place in her whole life or her whole chart, as far as the signs go. So again, her most powerful planet is her sun, which it is, or no, her Pluto, and her most harmonious planet is Jupiter. I'm just recapping here, and then we're just going to get down into the houses and how that relates, and then that's pretty much it. So her most powerful sign is Sagittarius, and then Libra. Sagittarius is in harmony. It's her most but her most harmonious sign is Scorpio. Again, rules her second house. So as far as her houses go, most of her power, again, it's going back to Sagittarius and Libra, which is kind of what I was saying. Her most powerful house, I'm just going to see where it starts degrees-wise. Her third house starts at 0 degrees Sagittarius, and that's her most powerful house, which is also her most powerful sign. So this is all about communication, community travel. This could be sort of like, sorry, you guys, I'm not the best with pop culture because I live in my own little bubble, but what do they call the Britney Spears fans? Because, you know, like with Beyonce, it's the Beehive. Well, there's the Free Britney movement. So she has a lot of power in community. And even though she's not really like a local figure, she's definitely a global figure. You know, that's the interesting thing. So the third house, I've been talking about this a lot lately since we're going into Sagittarius season, is ruled by Gemini, which is community, but with a reverse natural chart, like I always say about me, which she has as well. Her third house is ruled by Sagittarius, which is the world, foreign travel. So her having all this power in her third house under the sign of the opposite, which is world, she has a community, a following from all over the world that's under her, okay? And then and this doesn't always align like this, but her most powerful signs are Sagittarius and Libra, and her most powerful houses are the houses that Libra and Sagittarius rule. So again, Libra it's the same numbers of power, which you wouldn't always see, and it's actually the same numbers of harmony here. And it doesn't always align like that, but for her, it's the same thing. Her most, and again, her most harmonious house is her second house, which is the house of money. So even though she has all this drama and chaos with her family, which would be more so the fourth house, which is that Capricorn IC, where she has -1 harmony. And then her midheaven, she has actually, her career, she has 5 + 5. So, you know, her career, we respect her in her career. Now, social networking, like her Instagram, for example, is the 11th house. She has -1. So actually, you know, even though everyone doesn't know what she's doing on her Instagram, it's really not doing her a whole lot of harm, right? Because it's just not negative enough to, you know, 11th house for her, her Instagram is 22% power. So when she's doing this, you know, dancing and twirling on Instagram, it's 22% power. Her ascendant and her third house, her following, basically, I'm going to say here, because of how I just kind of explained, you know, with Sagittarius being there. And, you know, it's just not, it's not overshadowing. I was just looking at her 6th house really quick. It's in harmony. That's her actually going out and touring and doing the work, the tedious work. So, you know, I'm sure there's a lot more that I could deduce from this, but I just wanted to go over with you guys to show you how to do it for yourselves. So, you know, if you just want to go in and check Britney Spears out again or follow along with the video, like I said, even though we're at the end of it, the username is celebs, the password is celebs on divinetimingdatabase.com, and her ID number is 131. So, but if you want to see what yours is, then register, make your own account. You have to add at least one chart, so mine as well be your own to get it going. And then you can start adding whoever you like. You could go and add Britney Spears into your own private database, and then you could run your synastry with her to see how you two would get along or something. But yeah, so that's how you do Natal Cosmodynes. So when I'm talking about power, which I usually do it more with myself, when I'm talking about myself, like I'll be like, oh, I have the most power in Aries. My 3rd house in Sagittarius is my most powerful house, and it's in discord. For Britney, I can't, now I'm getting mixed up here. For Britney, it's in harmony, 6. And, you know, but then my 7th house is my most harmonious house, and it's in the sign, my most harmonious sign. So for me, it doesn't align where the house in the sign are exact like it does for her. So it's very interesting. Definitely go check out your power, you guys, and where your harmony and your discord is, because it can reveal a lot about your life. And I actually meant to do this before I hopped on. I have it, because I was kind of reviewing my packages last night on rotation411.com if you want, you know, birth chart readings from me and such, and synastry readings. And there's a lot of typos in the sort of product description, because when you're in there, you can't really see what you're typing. So I got to go through and clean that up. And last night I was going to get to it, and then I was like, I got to go to sleep. So yeah, if you go on there, don't judge me based on that, but I definitely need to clean that up. And so I meant to last night or today add, just, if you don't want to go in and do all of this yourself, I'm going to add a Cosmodynes report. So it'll be a little less, or it might be around the same price range as a birth chart report, maybe a little less because it's a little bit quicker. But I probably will have to look at your birth chart as well. So I know I have it as sort of a bonus part of one of the packages, but I'm going to make an actually, let me see. I don't think I have an actual Cosmodyne reading, so I'm going to go put that on there today. So if you're watching this in the playback and you want to order a Cosmodyne reading, maybe go to rotation411.com tomorrow and it will be up. And then I'll just do a little video like this explaining it to you, what your different house, like, oh, you have the most power in your 5th house. It's ruled by this sign, so this is what it means for you. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to do that, because I do think it's, as much as it's empowering to know your own birth chart, and it definitely is, and to know your sun, moon, and rising is really crucial. Because people, a lot of times my clients, I'll tell them, oh, your moon signs when I'm doing like a romance reading, and they're like, no, but our suns are this. And I'm like, yes, I understand that. But so I think it is very empowering to know where your power and your harmony and discord are, because then you know, okay, if you've just always had really terrible jobs and you hate your job, and your 6th house is like in the most discord, but maybe your 2nd house of money is in the best harmony, like Britney Spears, maybe starting at the bottom isn't really what it is for you. Maybe we're going to find it in your 2nd most harmonious house that's well aspected to your 2nd house, what you actually are supposed to be doing for your vocation or your work, you know? Kind of like I was saying, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline both have Libra risings. And, you know, I say often it has to do with beauty. It also has to do with law, and counseling is great for Libra rising. But what was the other one that just escaped my mind? fashion, if you want to like start a clothing line and you have strong Libra, because I remember I was saying how Libra loves clothes. So there is something, and I haven't quite cracked it yet, with dancing, because we have Kevin Federline Libra rising, we have Britney Spears Libra rising, and I have a Libra rising, and I like dancing is my passion aside from astrology and everything else. So I haven't quite cracked the code on what it is. That Capricorn I see definitely brings a lot of discipline to anything that someone is going to do, but also, sort of a childhood that is very strict and work driven, where you are expected to work and be self-sufficient, and you kind of end up finding your family in your midheaven, which is career. So you find your family out in the world. Britney Spears, again, sort of like, aside from the third house connotation, her midheaven is, her career is Cancer. That's her family. I believe Jennifer Aniston has this as well. So the world is sort of Britney Spears' family. The world loves her more than her own family. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, so there's something with, we talked about this the other day, is Pisces. So Avis Marie B said, my son loves to dance and he has a Libra moon and Pisces sun. So Pisces, like I was saying, any strong Pisces placement, especially ascendant, sun and moon, but even sometimes Venus or Mercury, is going to have a real feel with music, a whole different relationship, whether it be they play a musical instrument, they sing, they write music, or they love to dance, or just a lot of Pisces, I know, like Pisces suns, they have to have emo time where they're in their music. And I'm a Pisces, Venus, and Mercury, so during Pisces season, I get like them. The rest of the year I go in phases, but with them, it's like all the time. I have a Pisces friend who's just like, I have to listen to my music right now, and I'm like, whoa, buddy. But Libra moon, I hadn't really thought of that with dancing, but there's something with Libra and dancing. And it's interesting because on the ascendant, the ascendant rules the physical body, and the descendant is Libra, which is the others. So that kind of goes into choreography, like being able to, in the descendant is always influenced by the ascendant, right? Because if somebody has a planet, whether it's synastry or natal, on the ascendant, that is going to definitely directly influence the descendant. So I haven't made the connection yet on what it is with Libra and dance. So I will definitely keep mulling over that in my brain and reading and seeing if I don't come across something. And if you guys do, Avis, if you have any thoughts on it you want to add, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, definitely the Pisces sun, his Pisces sun, is why, he loves music and has a connection with it, which, yeah, but I just don't know how it's tying in. The Libra part is tying into movement. So there's something there. It hasn't clicked yet. So anyways, my light is dimming and we're at about 40 minutes. I try to keep it like 30 minutes to an hour, so I don't want it to click off and lose any of this because we did good work. So if you just hopped on, go back. It takes me about 10 minutes to get into it. Maybe one of you could timestamp, but I'm showing you guys how to figure out your power and your harmony and discord in your chart through the Natal Cosmodynes. So anyways, I'm going to go now. Thank you for joining me, Avis, and whoever else was here. And it's the weekend now, so we'll see if I can hop on. But I'll definitely be back Monday, and maybe Tuesday we'll go over Kevin Federline and Britney Spears synastry if you guys want to see that. So, all right, I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and light as always. Thank you.